What's up, everybody? This is GreyMan here. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to another edition of Medical Monday. And today we're going to be talking about dehydration. We're also going to jump into some water storage, tips and suggestions. We're also going to touch on, knowing your terrain, ways to find water. That last one we're going to just kind of briefly talk on. I just thought it was relevant to the content that we're discussing today. Some of this content, hopefully you'll get something valuable out of it, or maybe learn something that you didn't know prior, because there are some experienced preppers that watch this channel. Also, there is a lot of new preppers that are just getting into prepping and learning about this content as well. So hopefully everyone will get something out of this. And I want to say thank you to everybody that is watching the content. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up and sharing this video, it helps with the analytics and whatnot. That being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. I got all my bullet points and notations here to go over, and yeah, so anyways, so your body needs to be hydrated in order to function, at its optimal level. If there isn't enough liquid in your body, essential functions like circulation don't go as smoothly as it should. Your organs won't get the nutrients they need, and your body will perform its job less efficiently. Yeah. Anyways, drinking enough water each day is crucial for many reasons. To regulate body temperature, to keep joints lubricated, prevent infections, deliver nutrients to cells, and keep organs functioning properly. Being well hydrated also improves sleep quality, cognition, and mood. It's like I said, water is like the building blocks of life, as they say. It's just that important that you consume enough water. Now, you can drink too much water, but that's something else, a different topic, you know what I mean? Because we're kind of diving into dehydration, and we're going to go kind of into that versus, drinking too much water or overhydration. But, water can be also found in like fruits and vegetables, watermelons, tomatoes, lettuce, soups and whatnot, drinks and things like that as well, other than just in its purest form as, basic H2O. So I kind of wanted to touch on a few things like, if staying hydrated is difficult for you, I do have a few tips that I kind of put up or that I wrote down that might help you. You can keep a bottle of water with you during the day to reduce your costs. You can carry reusable water bottles and fill it with tap water if you really have to, depending on if your tap water is safe and filtrated and all that jazz. You know what I mean? If you have some sort of water filtration on your tap water, then great. If not, test your tap water often, as often as you can to see where it sits on the spectrum of things. Like I said, if you don't like the taste of plain water, you can try adding a slice of lemon or lime to your drink. That makes it more palatable. I've heard people say that, I just can't drink water all day, or, throughout the day, just because it just tastes like nothing, not realizing how important it is and how vital it is to your life. And especially folks who work out, drinking water before and during and after your workouts is very pertinent, and most of those folks know that. But anyways, so when you're feeling hungry, you should drink some water. This is often confused with hunger. True hunger will not be satisfied by drinking water, but drinking water may also contribute to the healthy weight loss of some. And the reason I bring this up is because I used water tremendously when I was going through my my issues and trying to lose weight, and I would drink lots of water, drinking probably more than I should have, but I drank lots of water during that time. And sometimes, if you have trouble drinking water throughout the day, you can make little notations, put little alarms in your phone or whatever, or just keep a bottle of water in front of you, and it'll make a notation to your brain like, hey, drink some water. Anyways, so let's touch on dehydration. That's the main topic of this video. And like I said, I hope this is not a long, drawn-out video. I think I should be able to run through this pretty quickly, and so on and so forth. So there's signs that it can, there's signs that you can see, that you can kind of tell if you are experiencing dehydration. Now, this includes, but not limited to, little to no urine. Let me see, urine that is darker than usual, like really dark yellow, even to maybe a mustard color. You get dry mouth, sleepiness and fatigue, extreme thirst, headaches, confusions, dizziness, lightheadedness, or if you're extremely upset and you're crying and you get no tears, that could also be a sign of dehydration. Now, there's some folks that are at higher risk than dehydration than others, including people who exercise at a high intensity, and also the weather that you're in. If you're in a hot environment, humid environment, and you're sweating profusely, that this also could occur, in cold environments as well. Like I said, I always tell everybody to do your research, because even things like medical conditions can constitute to being that where you need more water. For instance, like kidney stones and bladder infections. If you're sick, you have a fever, you're vomiting and diarrhea. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, all that stuff like that. You just may not be getting enough fluids throughout the day. Also, as usual, older adults, are also at higher risk. As you get older, your brain not be able to sense dehydration as well as it used to, and it doesn't send the signals to your brain that you're thirsty. So for you folks that are older, it's something to take away. And, I'm older as well, but like I said, I'm always keeping some sort of bottle next to me of water. I'm constantly hydrating, and maybe it's because of being in the military and the constant reminder of hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So, that maybe has helped me become more, I guess, what's the word you could say, more focused on hydration, per se. So just to kind of note, water makes up more than half of your body weight. You lose water each day when you go to the bathroom, when you sweat, or even when you breathe. When I was doing the research on some of this, I found out even when you breathe, you can lose water. And of course, you can even lose, you lose a lot more water when the weather is extremely hot. Being in Florida, this is very important. Let's say places like Arizona, California, Texas, New Mexico, Nevada, and any kind of desert or humid or hot environments. And then for you folks up north during the summer, I know it can be very hot. I know in New York City, folks in New York City tell me that the humidity out there can be intense and the heat can be beating down on you, and then it's intensified by the buildings around you projecting that heat onto you. Where was I at? And also, like I touched on, vomiting and diarrhea can also lead to rapid, water loss. And most of you folks know that, you can that when you're sick, you need to, stay extremely hydrated, and just to become familiarized with, drinking a lot of water when you're in situations like that. Also, also think about electrolytes. You know what I mean? I know you guys probably heard of electrolytes, but you can buy little powdered forms. I've showed this on the video before. You can pour electrolytes inside, water bottles, and and make that, give it some flavor, and also get the electrolytes you need. People say, you can drink Gatorade and stuff like that. Smart water is actually pretty good, surprisingly. Has decent electrolytes in it, but like stuff like Gatorade does also have a lot of sugar in there. If you're a diabetic, that's something you need to kind of keep in mind if you're drinking Gatorade to consume water, because it does have a lot of sugar content in there, and sugar is just not your friend, and that's a whole nother video. But so anyways, those are just some simple ways that you can be familiarized with dehydration. Now I can go on to the scientific aspects and go deeper and deeper into it, but just some of those signs, if you can catch dehydration early on, you're going to be in a lot better situation. And if you notice, folks, if you ever watch those TV shows like, let's say, Alone or Naked and Afraid, I always kind of reference those shows because some of those folks don't get enough water. And you can tell they start getting confused. They start getting like fatigued. They start losing their train of thought. They just don't have a will to do anything. They just want to lay there, and things progress and progress, and they start dry heaving, and it just gets really bad. You don't want to find yourself in that situation. So being properly prepared with water will save you from some of that stuff like that. Now, I understand there's instances where you may not be able to get to water, and this is where I'm going to touch on knowing your terrain and whatnot. But first, let's go ahead and dive into several of the numerous ways that you can store water safely and kind of keep it in your home and other stuff like that. And so the most common one is pre-bottled containers from the store. These bottles are safe to use in theory. You've heard of BPAs and whatnot, so kind of like whatever water bottles that you're buying, kind of like look into it. And then there's also water containers you can buy that are BPA free. Most stuff is BPA free now, but just saying, it's just something that you might want to to think. Anyways, most experts recommend placing factory bottled water or replacing factory bottled water every 5 years. So in a 5-year rotation, if you're storing water, which if you're storing water in the water bottles, you want to keep it where it's not getting sun. You want to keep it off concrete, because like you just want to keep it in a cool, dark, dry place, which sounds ironic, dry, right? And try to keep it off the ground. And there's a reason why I say that, because the ground can retain heat. Depending on the way your house works or where you have to store it at. You really don't want to store it like in a garage or whatnot. You kind of want to, if you can store water, when you want to carry, kind of put it, if you have a nice big pantry or a, like they say, prepper pantry, or somewhere in a basement off the ground, just somewhere where it's cool, dark, and dry. And this, if you notice, that's consistent with a lot of things, food storage and whatnot. But anyways, so that's just bottled water. I just kind of want to touch on that because that's the most common thing. People go out and buy cases and cases of water and store them for worst case scenarios. Now, there's a few other things that you can get into that it's a little bit easier, or at least I find it easier and better. But you can purchase emergency water containers, from, let's say, water bricks. You can also water barrels. And one of my favorites that I learned from Jason's channel, and it wasn't, I think they were like $35. It was called the Water Bob. And I'm going to probably should put a picture up while I'm discussing this so that you can see it. But the Water Bob is phenomenal. It holds 100 gallons of water. And you can, rest it into your bathtub. This is, I'll call it for emergency preparedness, especially, like I said, in my situation where there's hurricanes. But I'm very partial to the Water Bob. I learned it. I was watching Jason's channel early on, and I happened to see it in one of his intro videos. And then down the road, when we became friends, I gave him a call and I said, "Hey, what is that?" And he gave me the information and where to find it, and I thought it was awesome. And if you want, I will link down below where you can buy the Water Bob at. I find it to be very helpful. And like I said, it's 100 gallons. And yeah, I touched on that. So also, you can also use plastic 55-gallon drums. You can use that to also catch rainwater, depending on what you're doing. And no, I don't mean metal drums. I mean the plastic ones. Just to reiterate that, plastic drums. Usually you can get the food-grade plastic drums. They're usually blue in color. I'm pretty sure there's other colors out there, but the most common ones I've seen are blue. And you can also buy add-ons to those things, to put in those 5-gallon buckets to pull water out, like a little pumping system or whatnot. And like I said, some folks use it to catch rainwater. So also wanted to throw this out there is a lot of people, some people are familiar and some people aren't, but you can use your hot water tank. Your hot water tank holds a lot of water depending on the size of your hot water tank. The back of toilets, I don't mean in the toilet, I mean the back of the toilet. Your water reservoir for the toilet holds water. And also, funny enough, worst case scenario, your pipes also hold several gallons of water in your home in a worst case scenario. I'm not saying go break your pipes and drink in them, but you know what I mean. I'm just telling you where there's water in your home that you may not know of. So, kind of, here's some, kind of want to go over some storage tips and suggestions, kind of like how I've been talking about a little bit here. But you always want to store your emergency water storage in a food-grade, non-degradable, airtight containers that are sturdy enough to hold water, hold the water and hold the water weight. Water has a lot of weight to it. I know you think, let's say a gallon of water, it might have this weight, but when you have 100 gallons of water, it is very, very heavy. So you want to make sure whatever you're storing your water you're in is sturdy enough to hold that water. Also, when storing water, consider the portability of the container. Don't make it too heavy to carry or pour, because if you're trying to carry around a 5-gallon thing, let's say one of them big 5-gallon jugs that you get from, let's say, Zephyr Hills or whatever those places are. Some people use them for piggy banks, but anyways, stuff like that, and you try to hold that big thing and try to pour water, you're going to spill more water than you're actually going to probably put in that cup. So it's just something to think about. You know what I mean? So if you're looking at portability, let's say a liter or 2 liters of water, and you have it in something that that you can pour from if you're trying to pour for other folks. Also, if you have, let's say, some sort of water container, let's say like a water brick, that you have a spout on there that you can open that spout and pull from. Also, I kind of wanted to touch on this real quick. Flat water. So if you guys know what flat water is, flat water can be revitalized by pouring it back and forth between containers a couple of times. It helps to prevent algae growth. You don't want to store your water in direct sunlight, like I said, or near any heat sources. just because, like I said, you can grow algae, and something that you don't want to be consuming. And if you know what flat water is, it's just like stagnant water. Hopefully that kind of gives you what I'm talking about. And like I said, you don't want to store your water containers directly on concrete, as it changes the temperatures and gives off moisture when like I said, when storing on concrete. Like I said, concrete, concrete heats up and cools down, heats up and cools down on a consistent basis, depending on the weather outside and depending on your home. And also, you want to store your emergency water in places that won't be damaged if your containers break or leak. Let's say you have 100 gallons of water, 500 gallons of water, how many gallons of water that you have, and something goes south and it breaks, or and then it floods your home. So wherever you're storing this water, you want to be mindful where you're storing the water at, just because if that does break, what is it going to affect? Do you have it next to electronics? Do you have things that can be damaged? Do you have it next to, let's say, pictures that are very valuable to you, or things that you have stored? And I can say this from personal experience. Years and years and years ago, I had one of those plastic containers, and I had just filled with pictures of my kids and some of my life experiences and all kinds of stuff like that. And I had a roommate that moved it over next to the water heater. Down the road, about a year later, our water heater had a leak and broke, and filled that entire container full of water. So being that those pictures were in there, it destroyed every single one of those pictures. And some of those pictures will never, ever be replaced. Pictures of my child's birth, pictures of my children growing up, things that I did in my life. It was a horrible experience. I was very disheartened by that because I lost so much. I say there was probably at least 1,000 pictures in there. So just kind of let you know, it can happen. If there's always a possibility. So just stay vigilant in regards to that. All right, so the last topic I wanted to throw in there is, like I said, knowing your terrain. And this can be very helpful if you're out, in certain environments. And like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I just wanted to discuss it a little bit. I want to discuss stuff like retention ponds. They're built to catch rainwater. And back to what I was saying, the 55-gallon drums, there's a lot of rainwater catchment systems that you can also look into for water. But like I said, what is it? The matter of fact, I have it here somewhere before I move on to the next subject. Where did I put that at? Sorry, folks. I just wanted to, I read it, a thing, and I'm going to put it up on the screen too for you folks, because I thought it was pretty interesting. But so let's say if you have a 2,000 square foot roof, right? 1 inch of rainfall on a 2,000 square foot roof equals 1,250 gallons of water. So let that sit in. 1 inch of rainfall on a 2,000 square foot roof can equal 1,250 gallons of water. I was pretty impressed by that. And like I said, the graphic will probably be on the screen as I'm talking about this after I go into my editing phase. But I did have that stored away. Anyways, back to the retention ponds. Like I said, they're built to catch rainwater. This may be an option for purification. This may be an option for purification and drinking. Like I said, a retention pond. Anything out in the wild, you have to, I would say, purify. And like I said, now you have different things, fast-moving water, slow-moving water, stagnant water, ponds, lakes, rivers. All this is going to be pertaining. But you have to think, anything that's like out in the wild, animals may be using it. There could be pollution. There could be, like I said, animals in there using the bathroom. You just never know. It could be that water could be affected by whatever disasters in your area, and so on and so forth. So another difference between retention ponds, waste ponds, because there's waste ponds and there's retention ponds. So be vigilant on wherever you're deriving this water from. Know your area. You know what I mean? Know your local area. Rivers and streams, like I said, may be pure, but they may become contaminated or polluted again, just depending on the situation. So, like I said, there's a lot of things that folks know, and I can go deeper into this down the road. But fast-moving water, people say that because it's moving, so it's being filtered through the rocks and sediment and stuff like that through let's say a river, fast-moving river. But upstream, there might be somebody polluting. There might be, let's say, what is it called? Where they process logs and lumber, like a lumber mill. There we go, sawmill, whatever you want to call it. that could be putting stuff into the water. Like I said, animals right up the stream can be, bears can be, dropping fecal matter into the water. So you'll want to be vigilant and know how to purify water, or have some sort of water purification. Let's say like the mini Sawyer mini, or just boil the water and have some sort of, let's say I use coffee filters to, once I boil water, to run that water through to get any sediment or debris that's inside that water. And I think I've done some videos on that. If not, I can do more if you guys would like. So like I said, there's viable ways to find sources of waters, out in your area. And like I said, this can really honestly be a difference between life and death. It's just something I find to be extremely, very, very important. As they say, it's rules of threes, but the one I want to focus on here is 3 days without water, and things can get really bad. I've seen, you see folks on TV shows going longer, but 3 days is kind of the rule of thumb, at least from my understanding. 3 days water, 30 days food, but we're concentrating on water. All right, where was I at? Yeah, they they can be. So, anyways, like I said, rivers and streams. Yeah, that's where I was at. But like I said, purify your water as best as you can, and know how to purify it. Anyways, so I wanted to touch on rainwater. I discussed it a few minutes ago. Rainwater is also a source of potable water. And just remember what non-potable and potable water is. I think most folks do. So I don't think I really need to go there too far or go and dive into that too much. You can use buckets to catch it directly from your downspouts, and you can suspend a tarp to catch rainwater. Basically, and you're doing that in everyday life. Rainwater is a great source of free water, as I call it, that you can use to water your plants, bathe, wash your clothes, or even drink water, or drink it after it's been purified. So just kind of wanted to touch on that, and I know some of you guys are in states that don't allow water catchment systems or rainwater catchment systems, which blows my mind. I don't understand that. To me, I think it's more political driven, or more possibly, money driven. There's something behind that. I don't know, understand that. Maybe they're worried about people getting sick. I don't know. I think if you, as an American, if you're living, if you want to catch rainwater and drink rainwater, it's up to you. But like I said, you can use it for so many other purposes. Let's say you have you're perfectly stocked on water, and you have a water rain catchment system, and you want to use that water to wash your dishes, to wash your clothes, to bathe yourself, and stuff like that. It's just something to think about. And I get this question a lot here in Florida. People ask me about brackish water or salt water. It's not drinkable without significant purification. So it's best to be just left alone. But if necessary, and you have no water to flush your toilets, I've learned that you can use salt water to fill the back of your tank up and flush your toilet, or just pour down it. So you can use salt water for certain things, but don't drink it. It'll dehydrate the hell out of you, and also give you diarrhea, and it'll make the situation worse. So anyways, like I said, not too much of an in-depth video. Hopefully some of you folks found something pertinent out of this video. I'm always hoping to at least touch one person out there. That's the goal, regardless. Like I always say, if it's 10 views or 1,000,000 views, if I can just reach out to one person and they've gotten some sort of content or valuable information out of this content, I feel like my job is well done as being someone, as a content creator here on YouTube. So that being said, I want to say thank everybody for watching this content. If you can, again, like I said, give me a thumbs up. If you do like the content, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that'll just hate the content and give it a thumbs down. We have those trolls. It's YouTube and it's social media. It is what it is. But like I always say, thanks for watching, you guys who like to hit the thumbs down. But anyways, regardless, YouTube Analytics likes to see some sort of interaction. So if you can, drop a comment below. Like I said, give it a thumbs up, preferably. If you can drop a comment below, I like to interact with you guys as much as possible. Also, I try to answer most of my comments, at least if not all of the comments, whether if they're negative or not. I will address them. And if you guys have any further questions, I always tell everybody in my videos down below, I have all my social media links. I have my email, my P.O Box. Anytime, any way you need to reach me, you have a way to reach Grey. But I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. It looks like rain here, ironically. And tomorrow is my 9 p.m. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do my interviews on Tuesday nights. Again, so it'll be tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be going live with Morgan over at Rogue Preparedness, which will be a very intriguing interview. She has an awesome channel, and I'll put her links in the video, or when I post for the thumbnail tomorrow. I will put her links in the chat, as well as my mods will take care of that. I'm probably just rambling on, so anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I just like talking to you folks and interacting with you guys, so truly appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great day, like I've already said 100 times probably. But this is GreyMan. I'm out. God bless. See you guys on the rebound.